Hello guys, it's me Gleff back again, and today's video I will go over all the new Interregnum white bags and UTs that we have gotten, and it's one of each new weapon type and some abilities too, I think for Assassin and Archer. But beforehand, don't forget to join my 4000 gold giveaway for July. I will also pick my June giveaway as well, so 8000 gold will be given away in just some days. So be sure to join both of them, and let's jump into the Interregnum white bags and UTs. We don't know that much about the hidden Interregnum, but the hidden Interregnum is the dungeon where you fight over the 4 different mercenaries and then the Wanderer. And I've fought it now sometimes, I think 5 already, and there are some harder phases, and I think it might be a problem for some players, but if you are an experienced player in Shatters and O3 for example, I don't think that this will be such big of a problem. Here on my screen we have all the items. We have the Huntsman Volley, we have the Sunken Fire Opal Ring, we have the Faded Heart Scarab, we have the Fractured Hanya, we have, this sword which you can't even read because there's so much information. More about that later. Fragile Longbow, we have Pirate Sidearms, we have Obsidian Masauhoitl, Royal Sekhem, we have the Ritual Kopesh, we have the Stormcaller, and we have the Rusted Barrel, which is an assassin poison. Interesting. We have the Light Syndicate attire, Mystic Syndicate attire, and Heavy Syndicate attire. Hello guys, it's me Gleff mid-editing here. I realized after editing this video that these weapons are just a mixture between tier 12 and tier 13 weapons. But take this video as a small review of the weapon types that are introduced now in this month of the Mad God. I'm so sorry if I say that these weapons are anything specific. These are just reskinned versions between tier 12 and 13 weapons, a mixture of the damage between them both. And just reskinned. So sorry for that, but enjoy the video. I'm now here with the weapons, and you can't even see the sword's name when even being on the ground. So this information is just too big for getting a hold of the item. But let's introduce the rings, and these rings do have a special function with each weapon. So if you have a weapon on you and then a different ring, different stuff will happen to your shooting pattern, and this is pretty interesting, I think, at least. So all this information in the weapon description is just the rings function, and the function is the same for all weapons, but it acts a little bit different. So with the Sunken Fire Opal Ring, we can read it here, the first syndicate gear with description. Your weapon fires 2 additional shots backwards every 0.4 seconds, dealing 65 to 85 damage. So now, this is just a normal flail weapon. But with a ring on it, you can see it shooting 2 bullets behind me. Now, this isn't really useful at all, I think. If this should be a real function, I think the bullets should stay there a little bit longer than they do right now, because this function is pretty useless. We've seen that with the Predator bow and cult stuff, and they don't do even that much damage. So having this, I don't know, I don't think that this is that good of an idea, but the other rings are more interesting. So with the description, Faded Heart Scarab. Your weapon fires 2 additional shots towards your cursor every 0.4 seconds, dealing 65 to 130 damage. So let's take on the Faded Heart Scarab, and now we're talking about something useful at least. You see the 2 bullets going towards the cursor? Those each are dealing 65 to 130 damage each, and that's not that bad actually. Let's find some enemies and I can show you. I mean, now everything dies of the sword, but yeah, I think you can see, and it's actually useful because it actually helps your DPS. Maybe not in these narrow corridors between the rooms, but the 2 bullets are actually pretty useful. And now let's try with the Fractured Hanya. Fractured Hanya, your weapon fires a burst of 6 additional shots towards your cursor every 0.8 seconds, dealing 95 to 135 damage. And they shoots multiple bullets. Let's see here. This is a more precise alternative, and could actually be useful in some situations where the boss is standing still, for example, and it's doing pretty okay damage, because it's 6 bullets from 95 to 135 damage each. So it's more of a high damage, more precise one than the Faded Heart Scarab, which is more of a constant with the apex of your shooting pattern. And let's take the C. Very nice. Something also interesting with the 2 of these rings are that they do different attacks, and they've introduced this in past updates, but just told us about the future about this function. And it's the bonus attack, and the bonus attack is equal to 25% of your attack stat, and then you get dexterity, which is 15% of your minus 15% of your attack stat. So this means I will get minus 8 dexterity, but plus 14 attack. And the Faded Heart Scarab is for dexterity instead. So you see minus 10 attack, that is dependent on my dexterity, but the plus dexterity is dependent on the plus dexterity, or the dexterity I had from the beginning. So you get more dexterity while less attack, you get more attack while a little bit less dexterity. Then the armors are a little bit special. You see, reduces the magic casting cost of your ability by 15%, and it's not even that bad stats. So yeah, this is the whole Syndicate gear, and it reduces your MP cost a little bit. You can see from 85 to 100, so you reduce by 15%, which is pretty okay, I think. Now, when you've seen the different rings and how they work with each weapon, we will take a look on all the weapons by themselves and see if they are great. And I can't even wait. I can't read it. No, scythe. Yeah, it's a scythe. I don't know more than that. But then we will take a look on the Huntsman's Volley. We have the Stormcaller, which is a new UT Scepter, and a UT Poison. Here I'm on my wizard, and I'm going to try out the Royal Secam, and let's do that in a D-Docs. So this staff is like the Spell Blades. It's 1 bullet in front of you, but it has different... Why did it just change shooting pattern? I have no clue. This shooting pattern, or no, the bullet like sprite is just too thick, I think. And now it changed for a second. Now it changes again. Why is it doing this? I'm not sure. So my biggest thought about this new staff variation is that it's like a dagger, but a dagger that pierces, or at least 1 bullet is piercing. The big bullet is not piercing, but the smaller one, armor piercing bullet, do pierce through enemies. But I can't say really much about this weapon. I'm not sure about the DPS and such. I guess it's just for me to die now. Don't really know. It's a little bit weird, the Secam. But as you can see, there's a lot of information, but maybe the only viable function is to have it with the Syndicate gear on it. So now we have the extra bullets at the front. Now it acts more like a normal staff. And you can see the amount of dex I have is a lot more, and then the bullets on the side is going towards the apex point of my shooting pattern. Now here on my archer in a hidden Interregnum, trying out the Longbow. Yeah, it's a burst weapon, but they are actually fixing burst now. So they're making burst being affected good by now Berserk, so you can shoot faster even if you have Berserk. But I do actually like the Longbows while I'm dying. I do like the Longbows. I like that they are targeted towards one center, like this. And it's more of a damage that's precise, and where you have to focus a little bit on the aiming rather than using a normal tiered bow. So I do like the longbow as a concept, and I think that this bow is not that bad. A lot of these weapons do have bullets that armor pierce, and that can be useful in some endgame dungeons or on bosses which have a lot of defense or are armored a lot of the time. But this is how it looks. It's a little bit hard to see the bullet pattern. I can try to zoom in while dying. Yeah, yeah. You see, every bullet is targeted towards the center here. Then for the ninja, we have the Toshi version, and that is called Ritual Khopesh. And a problem with these weapons is that they do have a weird shooting pattern. You can't hit the target at the apex point, you can't hit it while standing in it, you have to actually stand around 3 tiles away from the target to hit the bullets. But let's try it out in a Mad Lab. Tachi is one of the weapons which I'm most skeptical about. I will talk about that later in my video where I go over the new weapon. But if you do hit all the bullets, it seems to do a lot of damage. And compared to a normal Tachi, the tier 14 is just straight up better in everything. You can see here, works like this. So the only reason why you would like to have the syndicate gear is probably together with a ring or something like I've done with the other classes. Trying out the wand here, Obsidian Mashuahutil. I think that is called like that. You can see that it has a lot of information, and I think it's a little bit too much. They need to fix the ring description out of the weapon description, because this is a little bit too much, I think. Oh, what is this? What is this? What is this for a shot pattern? Holy moly. Let's go into a dungeon fast. Let's do shatters. I mean, it seems to do a decent amount of damage if you're standing in something, but you can only stand in something, I think. I'm not sure where the true range is. It seems to be like 3.5 tiles away. I would say the true range is about 2 tiles in front of you. Maybe 3 tiles at the maximum. You can see here on my cursor now, everything seems to hit. But what is this bullet pattern? I'm not sure. What is this? I would say we don't need weapons like this. Unuseful weapons that are added for events like this. It's like the Christmas weapons. Unuseful. I mean, they're not that, like, it's probably the easiest or like most simple weapon out of these weapons that I've tried today. They just do plain damage, and they do less than tier 14. Is this different to the Scepter of Illumination? It is the same item. Okay, so have we gotten a reskinned one, or is this just a placeholder stat for the scepter? Okay, so with the quiver, I think we have something a little bit cooler than the reskinned Scepter of Fulmination. If we can find some enemies here. You can see, pressing spacebar, BAM! BAM! We have one arrow dealing 200 to 250 damage, and then it fires a barrage of 20 arrows that deals 75 to 100 damage each. Okay, that's actually a little bit interesting. Zabam. No. Requires a lot of MP. Okay, now I just missed everything. Can we hit this? Okay. I mean, it's a little bit cool. You have to be a little bit close range. But I'm not sure how this is going to compete against Quiver, like Void, the Void Quiver. I mean, who even plays Archer in 2022? That's a good question. Why doesn't it yeah, it gives +5 speed, so it's actually a viable, maybe a viable quiver, because you need a lot of speed on archer, or you need more speed than the base speed. Yeah, so pretty cool. Okay, I thought this would be something cool, but this is just a reskinned, what is it called? Plague poison, useless poison. So I've been tricked, and I thought that these items would be specific and cool, but as you can see here, we have tier 13 and tier 12, and it's just a middle ground between them both, doing 70 damage, and, well, I say this is straight out lazy by DECA, by just reskinning weapons, because I thought they would actually be UT and a little bit cooler, but I guess that limits DECA's functions to just making reskins. Well, I'm not sure I like these weapons. The longbow and dual daggers are my favorites. The other ones I do have so big problems with. But I will do a video about each weapon tomorrow, that I will go through all the different tiers and talk about them more. But yeah, sorry for this half done video. I thought that they would be cooler items, but yeah, a lesson. DECA. At least we have these rings that are a little bit cooler with the attack and dexterity, but can't see myself using them, to be honest. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.